Okay, now here he's giving points, real true points on why you should be investing in XLM, or as we call it on this channel, MLX, right? He's giving you the points. The fact that they partnered with PayPal, the fact that they are also partnered with Visa are two big reasons for you to hold 1000 XLM. Those are really the only two reasons you need. All of the other points that he was trying to give you, it's like, I don't even care about those things. Why? Because if you have been living on planet Earth for the last, I don't know, 30 years, you know PayPal, you know Visa. You know that both of those companies move money. They are involved in payments. They're involved in the payment system, okay? Any which way you turn it, they are involved in payments. Whether it's credit cards, whether it's debit cards, they are involved in that. So with the fact that XLM is partnered with them, I really don't need no other reason. All of the other things that people want to point out, especially YouTubers like him, those other things don't matter. The charts don't matter. You know, the SEC crap don't matter. The treasury stuff that he tried to mention don't matter. Like, none of those things matter. They really don't. None of those things matter. The only thing that matters is that they're partnered with PayPal and Visa. And the point that people miss is that Visa is a very big player in the payments game. So is PayPal. Both of those companies are already compliant with the government laws. Do you really think that Visa and PayPal would partner with a company that is breaking the laws? Visa and PayPal are two big companies that invest a lot of money into the government. They have a lot of governmental influence. Do you really think that they're going to partner with a tech company that is breaking laws? No. They saw the benefit of the blockchain technology, and they decided that they're going to move along and partner with them because they know that they're doing compliant things when it comes to the government laws. They are being very compliant when it comes to the government. They're following all the rules. They're not breaking any rules, right? They're not breaking any rules. All of the, not for nothing, but when it comes to the XRP, or as we call it on this channel, the PRX lawsuit, when it comes to that, all of that was just smoke and mirrors. It was just smoke and mirrors. That case was a fake case. It was not real. They made it feel real. They made it seem real, but it's not. And why I say that is because I never seen a company get sued by the government and still continue to operate and function and do things. I never seen that. Most companies would have stopped their operations and concentrated on fighting the lawsuit. That's the one part of it that a lot of people missed. It was a fake lawsuit. Fake. All of it was just a game. It was just to get people distracted and get people looking at the charts and all the other crap that they had people looking at when there's bigger things going on behind the scenes. I saw again today that someone posted a video where he's talking about banks are afraid. Banks are not afraid. Banks were never afraid because the same crypto companies, the same crypto blockchain projects that you are investing your money in is partnered with companies that the banks already utilize. So why would I be afraid of that? No, because these companies are not coming to take over the banks. They're not coming to take over the payment system. I'm sorry, not the payment system. They're not coming over to take, They're not coming to take over like payment company. Well, can't say that either. Like a company like Visa, they're not coming to replace Visa. They're coming in to make Visa better. They're coming in to make MasterCard better, right? In terms of being able to move money. That's what they're coming in for. So why am I going to be afraid of something that is here to help me? Then I hear people talking about, oh, the bank fees. The banks don't want to lose those fees. No, idiots, because the banks are going to make a lot of money from the crypto blockchain projects. How and why, you may ask? Well, it's very simple, right? What they're going to do is they're going to get people to come and custody their coins with them. So when you take your PRX, when you take your MLX, and you go to the bank and you deposit those coins there, they're going to be making a ton of money from your money. You're going to make money too. Don't get me wrong. You're going to make money too, because they're definitely going to pay you dividends on them holding your stuff, right? Which is the direction in which they're trying to go, because I also seen a video this morning, and that news dropped maybe 4 days ago. And I'm going to get into that in a second. But they're going to want to custody your stuff. With them custodying your stuff, they're going to pay you maybe 5%. So if you go to the bank and you deposit, let's say 100 XLM, right? Let's say you deposit 100, and let's say that 100 XLM is worth, let's say $1 million, right? They're going to pay you 5% on that. Now, how they're going to make money is they're going to be taking that money, using it to make investments, using it to buy properties. They're going to be doing the same thing that they're doing now. The same thing that they're doing now. They're also going to be using your money to leverage to give out loans for cars, homes, student loans, business loans. They're going to even be loaning your money to businesses to do bigger things, right? That's what the banks are going to be doing with your assets. In return, you're going to be getting 5% on your money. So your 100 XLM is worth $1 million. You're going to get 5% off of that. That's going to net you $50,000 a year from the bank. But the bank possibly made maybe $1 million from your money. That's what's going to be happening. So the banks don't care about those fees and all of that. No. And with the 100 XLM that you have in the bank, as the amount of it starts to grow, they're going to make more money because they're going to have more liquidity to loan out, to do things with. They're not going to be missing a beat. They're not going to miss one beat. So when you want to think about why this court case happened when it comes to XRP, is because they wanted to be able to set it up so that they can do this. They still want to be able to control people's money, but they needed to have laws set in place for them to be able to do that. That's all this is about. Them having laws set in place so they could continue to do what they're doing. The only difference is this time, when they do it, it has to be done very transparently. They cannot hide most things. They cannot lie about most things. Probably maybe all, because that's how the blockchain is created. Now, if you want to say they are afraid, that is the one thing that they are afraid of, is them not being in a position to be able to continue to hide and steal and lie. That is the one thing that they're afraid of. But afraid of not making money, they always going to be making money, because these blockchain companies are partnered with companies that they already utilize to help make payments faster and better. So there will be no more of the banking system being able to steal a penny from all depositors and make $100 billion or $1 trillion. They will not be able to do that anymore. They will not be able to have certain fees on your bank account that makes absolutely no sense, and then you're paying these fees. They're not going to be able to do that either, right? That's going to be something that's going to go out the window because the blockchain is going to make them operate in a very transparent, truthful way. That's the only thing that they're afraid of. Having depositors, they're not afraid of that either. Because, again, there's only about maybe 3% or maybe 5% of the world's population that is actually invested in this stuff. And I might be wrong on that percent. It might be way less. It might be 2% of the world's population that is actually invested in crypto. Not everybody's invested, which is the one thing that I think being in this space, this industry, having these investments, I think that we all forget the amount of people that is still not invested. For every 10 people you walk by on the street, maybe one of them is invested in crypto. Maybe one of them. And then you have the ones that's invested that are just doing it because they think that this stuff is stocks. So they're investing in it like it's stocks. They don't even know why they are invested. They don't even understand what they're invested in. All they know is they heard that you can make money investing in this stuff. So that's where people want to put their money. Okay? But there's not a lot of people. Now, I did mention just a while ago, and we're going to get back to the video in a second, but I mentioned that they want to, the banks want to be able to custody your stuff because of the wallets, right? I would say that the banks are more afraid of custodial wallets, such as Decent, Tangem, Oculus, Phantom, Bifrost, Ledger, Exodus. I think the banks are more afraid of those things than they are of the blockchain companies. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why would you say that, Thomas? Well, it's simple. The banks need depositors. So as a cryptocurrency holder, you don't need the banks to hold your crypto. You really don't. The banks know this, right? So what they're doing now is they're putting together little videos, little situations to scare people into getting banks and other financial institutions like BlackRock and your Morgan Stanleys and things like that, okay, which those are banks, but they're just different type of financial banks. So they're trying to sway people's minds by touching them in their feeling spot, in their emotional spots, right? That's what they're doing. And they're doing that by, again, creating these situations and then having them broadcasted. So I seen a video this morning where someone said that was an older gentleman. He got scammed out of $1 million of XRP. $1 million. He got scammed. Now, the scam happened with Ledger because he had his XRP on Ledger. Over $1 million of XRP. That's a lot of XRP. By the way, that's a lot of PRX. A lot. So he got scammed out of this. Now, as a person, as people, that we move off of emotions and sometimes we let things that we see dictate the next move we make. For someone that's weak-minded and for someone that doesn't understand how these wallets work, okay, and doesn't understand about the different scams that's going on, because I get scam text messages and scam emails all the time. And when I see them, I delete. I don't open nothing. I have gotten scam text messages on WhatsApp as well. And I just delete everything. Okay. I have family members that has called me and said, hey, I got a scam. I got a text, from someone talking about so and so crypto and about my Coinbase account. And I told them simply, delete. Don't open it. Don't do anything. Delete it. Right? So these things are happening, yes. But what they're doing is they're making it, and they're putting a very big focus on you needing to give them your assets because they're going to keep it safe for you. Well, in my opinion, the safest place for my assets to be is in my possession. I don't need a bank holding it. Now, it's my choice whether I want to make that move. But to have you scare me into feeling like I need to hand over the keys to my assets, I'm not getting jiggy with that. And that's what they're doing to people. They're scaring people into wanting to give them their assets to hold because they need those assets, because those assets is going to be liquidity for their banking institution. So they need that because just now the whole game is going to crumble. And the way how they are able to get money by having the Fed just print money, that game is going to be up just now. So when that game is up, the liquidity is going to run dry for a lot of banking institutions. Because if you understand finances, you know that a lot of the money that's created is debt. And debt creates wealth, because one man's debt is another man's wealth, and one man's wealth is another man's debt. Okay? That's how this whole financial game has been running this whole time. That game is going to be up. So they're going to do things to get you to bring over your assets to them. So no, they're not afraid. They're not afraid. They just want the bigger players to have deposits in the bank because they need that liquidity. Yes, they're going to have liquidity because they're going to be getting, the coins from whatever blockchain company they decide to get the coins from. But they also want yours, because the ones that they get in from those companies are going to be for them to do their daily operations and things like that. Your money is going to be for them to be able to take and play with. That's why they need your money. They're not afraid. This thing is very, when I see people say that, it's just crazy. But I'm sorry I went off the reservation for a little bit. Let's come back. We're talking about XLM, or again, as we say on this channel, MLX. So 1,000 MLX is a good place to be. It's a very good place. And I think that I'm probably not going to continue the video because, again, a lot of these YouTubers, the things that they talk about, it just doesn't even make any sense whatsoever. So when it comes to, how much XLM or MLX you need, it really is a thing where, in my opinion, 1,000 is all you need. Now, when it comes to a want, is a different thing. How much do you want and how much do you need? Those two things are different, right? Now, someone may want 10,000, but in actuality, everyone who could invest, or everyone who knows about investing in this, all you need is 1,000. And that's really just based on, again, the partnerships that you see XLM has, right? The partnerships they have is the partnerships that, to me, will determine the value. Why? Because when you look at Visa, when you look at PayPal, both of these companies move billions of dollars a day. Billions of dollars a day. So, yeah, those billions of dollars, if it's running on the XLM or MLX blockchain, if it's running on that blockchain, yeah, I want to invest in that. Because I know that the price of the coin has to be very skyrocket high. in order to move all of that money, which is the part that a lot of people don't understand. Okay, with just $1 billion, the price of MLX could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I am talking about a 6-digit number. Just for it to run just for it to run billions of dollars on the blockchain, it has to be a 6-digit number. It cannot be less. Stop listening to these people when they're talking this, because they don't understand what they're talking about. They don't even know what they're talking about. Just for billions of dollars to run on the MLX blockchain, and if this is your first time to the channel, I call it MLX, but I am talking about XLM Stellar, okay? Just for them to run billions of dollars on their blockchain daily, it has to be a 6-digit number. That's the only number that's going to make sense, okay? Because there's literally only 50 billion MLX coins that exist. They cannot make any more, right? Now, in circulation, there is probably maybe, I want to say 30 billion. I want to say, I'm not looking at anything. I'm just going off the top of the dome right now of what I think I remember. Okay. There's about 30 billion coins in circulation. Now, how much of those coins are being held by what we like to call retail? I would say no more than a billion. So there's no more than 1 billion coins that's being held by quote unquote retail. Now, I know that people are going to probably go in the comments and they're probably going to be like, oh, what are you talking about? Obviously, you don't understand the size of a billion. 1 billion sounds like a little bit, right? But it's actually a lot, because I'm guaranteeing that no one listening to my video right now is holding anything close to 100 million XLM. I'm pretty sure of that. So just think about it, right? It takes having 100 million 10 times to make a billion. Okay. Now there's no one on this channel holding 100 million MLX coins. I guarantee that. No one listening to me is holding 100 million. No one listening to me right now is holding 50 million. No one listening to me right now is holding 10 million. The most that someone is holding listening to my channel right now is possibly 100,000. There's probably not anyone listening to me holding 1 million. And if it is, great for you. I'm happy for you. If I was you, I would start selling off. I will not be holding that much. I would not even hold 100,000. That's way too much. Way too much. Because if you understand what the price of this coin needs to be, you will be very afraid to hold that amount. Holding 100,000 or 1 million of this coin as a regular person, you're insane. You don't even understand what you're holding. 100,000 to 1 million is small business operations. Okay? That is what you're holding. You're holding, and that's probably not even small business operations, honestly. That's probably small enterprise operational money. I wouldn't want to hold that much, because that amount of money is a headache. And that's beyond generational wealth. Like, that's beyond. You're not even going to know what to do with all of that money if you understand what the price of XLM needs to be. If you understand the price, you will not even want to hold that much. That's why I say 1,000, you're good. With 1,000 MLX, you will have generational wealth with just 1,000. Generational wealth to the point where none of your family, none of your kids, your wife, your husband, they cannot F up that money. They will not be able to with just 1,000. Now with 100, they may be able to, but they're still gonna have a hard time doing it, but they may be able to with just 100 XLM. But 1,000, they can't mess that up no matter how much they try. I guarantee you. Because if you set it up smart enough, man, that thing will go for generations upon generations upon generations. You have to just understand what you're invested in, which is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. So I know that you're probably like, well, what is the price? Well, what is the price? Well, according to my past calculations, and you could go check out my video that I did probably a year ago, right? I have an XLM playlist as well that you could go check it out there. According to my calculations, for Stellar XLM to move $150 trillion a year, okay? I need you to get your calculator and I need you to do this. $150 trillion, okay? And you divide that by 365. That's 365 days. You should get to a number of 410 billion. $958,904,109. Now, that is the amount of money they would have to move per day. Okay? So over $410 billion is what they would have to move per day. There is no way that the coin could be $10 and $20. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. It's not even possible. Mathematically, that's not possible because if you look at it, that number is 8 times the amount that they are actually holding, right? It's 8 times the amount. They only have 50 billion coins and they would have to move $410 billion a day. There's no way they could do it at $20 because they're not using all of the coins because they cannot use all of the coins. Okay, so you're looking at the price of the coin according to my math and what makes sense. All right. Now, the way I do my math is differently. A lot of people don't understand, but what I do is economic math. Everyone else is doing kindergarten math. That's why they come into the numbers that they come into and they don't understand because there's a lot of things that they're not taking into consideration that they should be taking into consideration, but they're not. It's fine. If you're watching my video and you've been watching me for a long time, you should start to understand the math that I'm breaking down. Okay, so you have to take a lot of things into consideration. You have to take into consideration that there's a burn rate. You have to take into consideration that they cannot use too much coins per day to move the money because it will cause friction on the blockchain. It will cause outages on the blockchain, okay? So they cannot use too much coins to do that. They cannot use too much coins because other companies that are building on the blockchain has to hold the coin in order to interact with the blockchain, right? So you should also understand that part too. So I said the burn rate. I said the fact that they cannot use too much coins because it would cause friction. And I said that, what did I just say? Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, I've got to move on, right? So those are the things, right? Those are some of the things. Now, they also, right, have to look at the fact that they're going to be a part of the new financial payment system. That means that they have to be able to operate for the next 100 years. They're not here to move money for 10 years. They're not here to move money for 20 years. No. They are here for the next 100 years. So, doing that, you have to take all of these things into consideration. All right? All of these different things you have to take into consideration. They're going to want to be able to use one XLM to move multiple payments. because the $410 billion that they're moving per year, per day, it's going to be a mixture of multiple payments. Okay? So they're not going to want to have to use 1 million XLM to move $1 million. No, they're not going to want to do that. That's not going to make any sense. They're going to want to be able to use one XLM to move multiple of millions and billions of dollars. That's what they're going to want. Or I would even say just millions, right? They're going to want one XLM to be able to move multiple of millions of dollars. Now, the millions of dollars that I think that they're going to want an XLM to move, which will make sense, is $300 million. They're going to want to be able to use one XLM to move $300 million, upwards of $300 million, because they have to move $150 trillion a year. So I cannot have one XLM be worth too little, because we will eat away our supply. So from my calculation, I just told you the number, $300 million is where I see XLM getting to. So when it comes to how much XLM you need, really, 1,000 and you're good. You don't need nothing more than that. You really don't need more than that. If you want more than that, sure, go ahead. But my suggestion to you is, as you see it going up to high prices, you start selling. And make sure you have that 1,000 on a wallet that you're not even touching or looking at. Because you will be safe, you will be good, you will be great, you would have financial wealth with just that 1,000. That's the only reason for having this. All of the other things that people talk about, no. I'm just looking at the amount of money that they are going to be responsible for moving per year. So when I see 150 trillion, then all I need is 1,000. That's all I need. Because at $300 million a coin, 1,000 of those will be worth 300 billion. Listen, if you're not good with 300 billion, something is wrong with you. With $300 billion, you can buy a lot of things. You can live a very good life. So no, you don't need more than that. 1,000 is all you need. But I'm done with this video for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You just heard my nephew yelling in the background. He just didn't understand that I was recording. It's all right though. This is Thomas Bain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.